So sitting next to me, I do have the parts and pieces that come in a KLR dash kit. Today's video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to install this on a KLR. This happens to be a 2018 behind me, but the video should be fine for 2008 all the way to 2018. Welcome back, Bikeaholics. Ryan Erlacher here, lawabidingbiker.com. I always thank you, that's right, you, for checking back in. And I just want to mention a few brief things before we get started installing. One of the reasons you may want to install an aftermarket dash kit like this is a couple reasons. Number one, it gives you a dash panel which allows you to mount an array of accessories up front, gives you some extra room there. And then additionally, it gives you some adjustability on your windshield as far as how far forward or back you want it to sit. And one additional accessory you might consider, you could install it at the same time. You can do it after too. It's one of these guys and it's from the same company. And this is the lower dash, and really nice, couple 12-volt power ports for accessories, voltage meter, a power on-off switch for the entire dash, and then you've got an additional toggle switch for additional accessory like driving lights as an example. And make sure you subscribe to this channel so you're notified, because I will be putting out an install and information video on this too. And with that said, what do you say we get this bad boy installed? Oh, and real quick, this isn't a sponsored video. I bought this product myself and I have no affiliation with this company, but there is a way you can support us if you appreciate the videos we put out on this channel. I'll link to the products in the description below. You can either get it from the Law Abiding Biker store or there'll be affiliate links. Either way, if you click through and make a purchase, we do get a kickback. It helps support us here at this channel, helps us keep the lights on. All right, to get started, we're just gonna remove the 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, to remove the stock windshield here. And you'll wanna save the stock bolts, washers here, and well nuts, because you'll be reusing those. All right, next you've got your wind deflector plate. Your kit's gonna come with 2 rubber well nuts. Make sure that these well nuts are installed in the bottom 2 holes like so. Then we're gonna take this wind deflector and it's gonna go underneath the existing fairing, and we're just gonna work it down, and we're gonna line up these 2 bottom holes and these 2 top holes with the holes in the plate. Next, you'll wanna identify your 4 brackets in the kit: brake side upper and clutch side upper. And you've got brake side lower and clutch side lower, and they're obviously labeled for you. All right, next we're gonna install our 2 lower brackets. This is the brake side lower bracket as labeled, and it goes like so, and you line up the 2 holes. Your kit comes with 2 longer screws indicated by the Phillips head, and those are the ones that go in the bottom here into the well nuts. And so we're just lining up all of these holes here. You may have to tweak this plate a little bit to get everything lined up. And then we can get this bottom one started here with the Phillips screwdriver into that well nut. And I'm gonna move around to the clutch side bracket. Same thing, Phillips, the longer screw, into the bottom well nut there. And again, I'm just tweaking this plate to get everything lined up the way I want it. And I'll get this one started with my Phillips. Okay, with your shorter bolts, we're gonna go in the top, through that top hole. And then of course, on the back side, a lock nut. And I'm just gonna do this finger tight. And same thing for the other side, and another nut on the back. Now we can take our Phillips and go ahead and snug these bottom ones down into those well nuts. Same on this side. All right, moving up top to these 2. 4mm hex head with a 10mm wrench on the back side, and I'm gonna get these snugged down. And you don't have to give a lot on these because you're just kind of going into plastic there. Now we're gonna work on pre-assembling the actual dash plate. Very simple, your kit comes with the hardware, 2 spacers, 2 long bolts, and 4 washers. Then the bolts go through the bottom holes. We'll spin it around, and a flat washer, and a flat washer, spacer, and another spacer. Now that's pre-assembled and ready to go on the bike. All right, we're just gonna remove the 2 inner dash bolts here, and they are 5mm hex head. All right, we got that one most of the way. It's helpful to have a magnet so you can get up in there and get that bolt out. And just finishing this side, got both bolts out. Okay, you'll note these 2 tabs up top. They'll come straight up, basically. They just bend really easy. Just put a little pressure on the base of one and bend them both back, so they're basically going straight up. All right, very simple from here. We'll take our pre-assembled dash panel. We've got the spacers and everything on there. And very simple, just line it up, and it goes right in the stock dash holes there where we took out those bolts. And then we'll just get these fingers started. Then you can take more of these short bolts and put it through. We'll line it up and go through that tab. And of course on the back side of that, is going to be one of your lock nuts. And we'll also just get this finger started. Same thing on the other side, bolt through, lock nut on the back side. And we'll take our 10mm wrench on the back side, 4mm hex head on the front here, and get these snug down. And we'll finish off with the 5mm hex head on these main dash bolts here. And there we go. Everything to this point should be snug down. All right, guys, real quick, and we'll get right back into your video. A lot of man hours, effort, and of course finances go into keeping this YouTube channel going strong. There is a way you can support us by becoming a patron member, link in the description below. Basically, you pledge a certain amount per piece of content, no risk to you because you can put a monthly cap. There are benefits such as t-shirts and stickers, access to the private Facebook group, it's a troll-free zone, access to our live video broadcast and chat, access to our premium videos upon request, and access to those ride and meetup events. All right, let's get back into your video. Of course, it's up to you. Any accessories that you want to install on the inside, of your dash panel, now would be a good time, or before you put it on, but I'm going to leave mine blank for now. I'm not sure how I'm going to set it up. So moving in with the clutch side upper bracket, you can see our lowers on here, and it just goes over like so. And then we can take one of our shorter bolts and of course line up the bottom hole there, and one of the lock nuts on the back side, and I'll just get this finger started for now. And with that finger started, you can see the upper, this is what your windshield's actually going to attach to. So you've got some adjustments. You've got 3 different positions with the 3 different holes, and I'm just going to start for now. You can always adjust it later with the bottom. And same short bolt through that bottom hole, and a lock nut on the back side. And of course, we'll move over to this side, the brake side, and we will do the same exact thing. All right, and again with my wrench, and of course my hex head. On this side, I'm going to go ahead and get these tightened down, all 4 of them. And just working on the last one here. And of course, everything now up to this point has been snugged down and is tight. So the next step in this project, of course, is placing our windshield up here. I do want to mention just a couple things. Now, this is my stock windshield, and comes on the KLR. It sits, let's say, right about there. Now, while I'm doing this dash kit, I went ahead and elected to get a taller windshield at the same time. The one I chose this time around is the actual Kawasaki. It comes straight from the Kawasaki website. It's made for the KLR. It sits 4 inches over stock. So if I can get it in place there, that'll give you an idea just about the extra coverage that you get. Now, just understand this is expensive. You don't have to get this. There's some aftermarket ones that I believe are just as good for replacement windshields for the KLR. I will put some links in the description below if you want to check out some other options that I think are good and some of the pricing. And before we do the windshield, I will remind you at the beginning of the video, I told you to save these well nuts. That's because we're going to go ahead and pull each one of those well nuts out. And once you get all those out, we can set our windshield aside. And that's because you're going to take your new windshield and you're going to use these same well nuts. You can either bring them in from the backside and try to push the lip over, or another way is to come in from the top here. And if you just push and twist, you'll be able to seat them back down in. And we'll do that on all 4, of course. All right, and we'll come up with our windshield. And just one thing, check your well nuts before you do the project. Over time, they can get weathered and cracked. And just replace them during your project if you need to. Mine were good. But we're going to slide it underneath these brackets and basically line up the holes here. Just understand, to line everything up, you are going to have to, put some pressure in on these brackets or out, and just manipulate them where you need them to line up these holes. And I'm lining up the first one, and I'm taking my original windshield bolts. That's why we saved them. And of course, we're going to get these fingers started down into those well nuts that we reused. All right, I've got all these fingers started. I can come back with my Phillips screwdriver and of course, get this all tightened down. All right, so I've got plenty of clearance here between my windshield and the stock fairing. I know if you crank this all the way up, some guys have had problems with this running into this and you have to shave this back a little bit. I'm at the first position, so it's kind of angled back. I'm actually, I think a good in-between is the number 2 position to bring it up a little bit. So it doesn't matter that your windshield's on. You can take a box end wrench and fit it behind here, no problem. And I can go ahead and back this out, and I'm going to move it to that number 2 position. All right, and once we do that, of course, we can move it up. That is the number 2 position right there. And then if you went all the way up to the number 3, we're actually looking pretty good. It's basically barely touching, it feels like. So that front nose, you may have to trim back just a little bit if you're going to run it all the way up in that position. But if you're in the number 2 or the number 1, it looks like you'll have plenty of clearance. And one of the things you're gonna have to contend with is this stock dash. You've got two really sharp plastic points coming up where the other windshield used to kind of cover both sides. And so I'm gonna try to cut this off and basically round it off with the metal of the new dash here. And I'm just gonna try a Dremel tool with kind of a cutting wheel and just try to cut around it here. All right, and I've just got a little sand disc here on the Dremel tool, and I'm just gonna go ahead and clean this up, make it look nice and neat. There we go, rounded it out, kind of to fit the metal there, and good enough. All right, there you go, dash installed. Don't forget, on this channel, I'm gonna be doing a lowered dash. It's powered. I've already done a skid plate on this channel. We're gonna be doing a rear spring, shock spring. I've done panniers, pannier racks, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, check those videos out. Look forward to the new ones. Peace, I'm out.